All right, guys, how's it going? In this video, we're going to be talking about Alexander Isak. Surprise, surprise. But have you noticed how we haven't really been talking much about him on here? We haven't had to because the Northeast journalists have gone exceptionally quiet over the last few days. They've gone from publishing article after article every 2 or 3 hours, especially Luke Edwards having his meltdown on social media, Craig Hope going all over the place. They've gone very quiet. And I think there's a reason for that, which I'll get to in a minute. I made some notes earlier today when I was in the cafe reviewing the Spanish football dailies for you. And the Chronicle, which is like, the local media up there, think Liverpool Echo kind of thing. They were talking about his, him going on international duty with Sweden. Obviously, he's been selected for their World Cup qualifiers against Slovenia and Kosovo. They're to be played on the 5th and 8th of September. So he's scheduled to fly out to Stockholm for that. And they were saying that, he'll be required to do media duties on that. And apparently the Swedish FA have said he will still be, committing to those requirements. So the Chronicle are saying, popcorn content is imminent, because of that. He's obviously going to be pushed for, comment on his situation, if you like. And also they said that head coach Eddie Howe will provide an update on Isak's situation at his press conference ahead of the trip to Leeds United. Apparently, he's been quoted in Sweden with the Swedish media as saying that the striker's fitness has plummeted after playing no minutes in pre-season. One more thing that the Chronicle said was that they understand that nothing has changed between Isak and Newcastle after those high-level talks at his home on Monday, wasn't it? So, no change on that front. But the journalists have gone exceptionally quiet. And I'm just going to go into opinion territory now, all right? And we're all entitled to an opinion. Listen, if you're one of my haters, even you're entitled to an opinion. The difference between yours and mine is I get paid for mine. Listen to me. Purely opinion. It's gone quiet. And I think that's because Newcastle United are now managing how to deal with his exit. I think he is going to become a Liverpool player. And I do think it's going to happen in the next few days. But I think they've gone from that brief, the press office continually briefing these journalists, this is the vibe, this is the stance, to kind of a defeated situation because that strength, those strong messages are not coming out through their journalists at the moment. Maybe I will upload this video and I'll be back here in a couple of hours saying, holy fuck, we're going to have to change our views or opinions here because Craig Hope's come out and said this now. But they've all gone quiet. And that makes me think that Newcastle now are managing his exit, like how to deal with it, how to present it to the media. And this is what happens, guys. This is what happens. If you've got any experience of how clubs, handle these things or sacking of a manager. For example, when Rafa was sacked years ago, it was Christian Purslow that was not the chief executive at the time. His title was managing director. And he accidentally emailed a friend of mine, right, with the same Christian name that his email was intended for. So Steve Smith, Steve Jones. Or he thinks he's sending it to Steve Smith, but he sent it to Steve Jones. And Steve Jones, for example, was my friend. And this email said, we're going to sack Rafa. And then it went through, this is how we're going to present it to the media. This is what we've all got to, have, we're all got to be on side if we're asked about it. This is how it's going to be portrayed. And all this was happening in the early hours. Rafa didn't even know he was getting the bullet. I did before Rafa knew. I've still got the email, right? And my friend, who knew Christian Purslow, obviously, because that's why he had his email address, replied and said, I don't think this was intended for me, sort of thing. And it was a case of, actually, to keep it quiet, sort of thing. But there was a bad vibe between them at the time. There was a lot of things going on at the club, as you know, and that's how that email fell into my possession. So what I'm trying to say here, that was the first time that I really learned about how clubs, manage. I mean, it's common sense, really, isn't it? But if you don't know, they really do spend a lot of time preparing. This is how we're going to convey it. We're going to go, if it's a Liverpool matter today, it'd be like, we're going to go through Joyce, tell Paul this, he'll put that out. And they've got to manage it. They've got to, the Newcastle, United executives, they've got to keep them Newcastle fans on side. They've got to paint the narrative. It's got, what I mean? They've got to make it look like they've not backed down or anything. And that's what I think's happening. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Twitter twat. I'm not an ITK or anything, right? But that's what I think it is. And I do think he will be a Liverpool player, whether that's in the next few days or even, in the next window or whatever. I do think he'll be a Liverpool player. I'm very confident of that. And I still maintain and still believe my hunch is that it will happen during this transfer window. And I think that's why it's gone exceptionally quiet. Because the briefing stopped, hasn't it? Clearly. You only hear stuff from journalists when the club wants to get something out there. And what do I always say to you? If Paul Joyce puts something out at the Times about Liverpool or, to do with Liverpool Football Club or Ornstein or whatever, especially Joyce. When Joyce puts something out, I always think, what does Michael Edwards want me to know then? Who does it benefit? Why am I reading this? What's the leverage here? What's going on? And the Newcastle journalists have gone quiet. I don't know. I know Edwards is still out there, chiming in with a couple of things and that, but nothing big time, if you know what I mean. So, and I know, everyone's thinking, it's all down to if they sign a striker or not. That plays into it, but whether they sign a striker or not, they've still not got a striker because he's not going to play for them. Do you think he'll play for them if the window slams shut? Do you? Or do you think he'll just sit it out? I think he'll sit it out. So I don't really see how it makes much of a difference. We will let you go if we sign a striker or two. Because we can't afford to let you go now because you're required to play, which would make sense in a normal scenario, right? But he's not playing anyway. So I don't see how it, And then, if you think, all right, okay, well, January then, they ain't going to get as much money in January. Yeah? They're fucked. Newcastle are fucked. And that's why I think it's gone quiet. I think they're managing it, preparing how they're going to do all this, and we're going to hear something imminently. And I just feel like today's an important day for some reason. I do. It's just the vibe I get. So on a night time, I'm waiting for Paul Joyce, a little notification to come up for him, see what he's got to say. But I'll be honest with you, right now, I'm really interested to see what the Newcastle media have to say. I can't wait to see, when one of these journals puts something out again, because I want to break it down for you guys and go over it, So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that's my opinion, what's going on, all right? My opinion, remember? You don't need to leave a comment saying, what do you know? Because I've told you quite clearly, I ain't got a fucking clue. It's just an opinion, all right? And there's a saying around here, don't knows best, DKP, all right? So let's see. I don't know about you, but I can't wait till the transfer window closes because some of the comments I've been getting in the last 24 hours are just like so fucking draining. Honestly, I'll be glad when we can move on and just get on with the football. Where are you with it all, guys? What do you think? I still maintain that we will sign Alexander Isak. He will definitely be a Liverpool player. I don't know when. I still think it will be this window, though. I think. But how can I possibly know? Even Liverpool officials maybe don't know. Who knows? But that's what I'm sticking with. Not changing my view yet. All right? And I feel the same about Mark Gay as well. What do you think? Let me know. All right, guys, drop me a comment. Yeah, I hope I haven't got many videos to do. I mean, listen, people I've had some people moaning, another Alexander Isak video, another one. Well, them fucking journalists are fucking rabbiting all the time. So there's been none from me, has there? Because they haven't been saying anything. I can only respond to what's in the media. And as people know on this channel, that's what I do. I analyse the articles and the journalists behind them. All right, leave it with you. If you found the video informative, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. Let me know where your latest thoughts are right now, okay? Let me know where your latest thoughts are right now. Do you think it's too late? Do you think it's all related to whether they get another striker or not? Where are you? Tell me. If you're a Newcastle fan, hey, you're very welcome to comment here. Just don't be stupid, all right? You know what I mean? If anyone's stupid to you, I'll fucking get rid of them. Don't worry. We want a nice little warm environment here. Not where we're all hugging trees and being, you're so nice. Just a grown-up fucking community where we can talk about football, without having to resort to insults and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and if you want to get me a beer, this weekend, I'm going out tomorrow afternoon, all being well. Well, I won't be if this shit kicks off, that is for sure. A beer or a coffee, there's a love art under the video. It's called a super thanks. I'm super, I deserve a thanks. Anyone that does that, I always give them a shout out in my morning briefings. My morning briefings are uploaded to my other YouTube channel, the Duncan Oldham channel. The link to that channel is in the video description, and it's also on the screen round about now. All right, guys, I'll see you in a bit. Let's hope it's a quiet day, but the shit's going to hit the fan soon. I'm telling you, it's going to kick off.